Mr. Shivam Khetan. With extensive experience in cloud computing and a passion for teaching, he will be walking us through the essentials of AWS. He will be answering your questions. At the end, we will also have a Q&A session, and we will ensure that you have a strong foundation to build upon. So without further ado, let's welcome Shivam with lots of virtual chairs in the chat. Welcome, Shivam.
Hello. Thank you, Shraddha, for this lovely introduction. And I'm really excited to see there are 266 people right now in this meet. Great that so many people want to learn about cloud and the cloud-related concepts. So yeah, so I'll just share my presentation and then we'll start with it. Can you please make me host so that I can share the PPT?
Yeah, give me a second. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so 1 second, there is a issue.
Hello. Yep.
One
Just wait a
second,
second till it's configuring.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So hello everyone. So this is the day one of our cloud learning challenge, and I'll begin with the topics of cloud computing and AWS services. Okay. So okay. So before we start, I have just one question from every one of you that whenever we play some video or movie on maybe say Netflix or Amazon or Amazon Prime or Hotstar, what do you think happens when you click play? How do you are able to see this whole picture and all, right? So where do you think the movies are actually stored? So you can answer this. You can put this in chatbot. Though, so your options are like, is it on your device or maybe it's somewhere in their Netflix headquarters and then their servers, and maybe it is on a cloud server distributed worldwide, or you don't have any idea about how it works out. So um, not able to see the chat, but
Most of them answered it.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. So can you just
Yep.
share what they answered, or
C and B. A lot of confusion. C and
CNB.
B.
Okay. Oh, okay. So most of you have this idea that there are like office servers, right? So basically, company whenever they host their data, they use servers. So what are servers? They are like electronic storage devices, basically, which where they store the all content and all the data, and via the internet we are able to access the data, right? But suppose now if I live in so Netflix is based out of USA, right? But now it wants to expand to India. So what will Netflix have to do is they'll have to set up a team in India, and then they will have to buy servers, and then make security configuration, network configuration, and then put the application out, and then customize it according to their needs, and then we will be able to access the Netflix server, right? So there is so much lot of hefty process between from expanding from USA to India. But what if there was some way where these companies don't have to do all of this? They just need their main application, and they can deploy it on some server, and the server will keep running for everywhere in worldwide, right? So to answer this, we have cloud services or cloud computing basically. So, what is cloud computing? Cloud computing mainly refers to the delivery of computing services like servers, storages, databases, networking, software, analytics, and most of the stuff, right? So, when we say that if Netflix want to come to India, what will they use? Like they will go to a cloud provider. Cloud provider are basically companies which provide cloud services. So they will go to some company like Amazon or maybe Microsoft or maybe Google, and they have their they will what will they'll say, just I'll deploy this app on your cloud, and their cloud will make sure everything, like they will create proper servers for their app. They will set the network configurations, and also how the app will run, where the app will run, how to load balance, and all that stuff, all that nifty gifty details of handling a server will be handled by that cloud provider rather than the own company. So the company don't have to worry about these details. So the key characteristics of cloud computing are that it's on demand and self-service, right? So I just need to purchase their cloud computing services. It's like on demand. Whenever I need their services, I can demand for it, and I can increase or scale according to it. And it's self-service. Whatever adjustment, whatever data I want to take in or take out, or whatever adjustments I have to create in that data, I can do that easily. Okay. So it is a broad network access, or it is available worldwide. So if Amazon has every center in let's suppose in India, UK, USA, I just need to access their I just need to deploy my app on their every server, and that is really a like matter of clicks. You can, within a clicks, you can perform this action, right? So I'll be able to access the worldwide network. Then resource pooling, rapid elasticity, and pay as you go pricing. So what is mean by pay as you go pricing? The whatever compute services I'm using, I'll pay for only that much, rather than creating the whole server. Like buying a server and managing it is really expensive, because then I will have to hire some people to handle it. So I'll so AWS cloud or any cloud provider provides me this facility that I have to pay only for the services which I'm using, and I have to pay for only the time I'm using it, right? So this is the main advantage of cloud computing. Okay. So we will have question answers at the end, or we can have it if you have any doubt. Okay. You can just put it in chat box and we'll discuss it later. Okay. So now let's continue with the benefits of cloud. Um, Okay, so cloud, as we discussed, that the companies don't need to put their own servers and hire a team. So it is a cost-effective solution. So the maintenance cost and everything is handled by the cloud provider rather than the main company. So it is very cost-effective for, let's suppose I have a startup. So my startup doesn't need to buy a server in every country and then host my project there and hire a team to maintain the whole project, right? So that's why it is most cost effective for me being a startup, that I cannot afford that much of that much expense right now. So I will just use any cloud service which will provide me with all of these benefits, and they'll handle everything on their side, right? Okay. So yes, and disaster recovery. So one thing in cloud is that if suppose I have a data in India, right? So cloud will not just store that data in India, but on every other, it will maintain its backup and its copy in their backup servers and a copy in every other country or server they have, right? So how is this useful? Suppose if my Bangalore server gets out of control or it crashes, right? So if Bangalore server crashes, then the whole India will have to suffer because I won't be able to um, taken like request, right? So that why it we will have to then configure right next we will, and we also might lose data. So this is better to have a copy of the data in some other server. Let's suppose there is a copy in Bangalore server, then there is a copy in Mumbai server. So even if the Bangalore server is down, we will have the data in Mumbai server, and even if I create a request, it will be able to be answered, right? So the response will be yeah, it is sent by Mumbai server rather than the Bangalore one. Okay, so that helps by disaster recovery. Yeah. So another um, main benefit of cloud is that it is scalable and elastic. So what is mean by scalable? So suppose if I have a computer right now, if everyone has a laptop or computer, right? So it has some number of processors, right? But what if I need more processors? What if my application requires more amount of processing or more amount of computation, right? So what cloud provides is it is easily scalable, right? We can tell our cloud provider that I need 3 to 4 processes more because my app needs, it is a heavy app and it requires more compute, and they will provide me with that 3 to 4 processors, right? But suppose if now I had this all everything on premise servers, what I'll need to do is I'll need to bring in buy more servers and then set up, and I have to then configure them both that such that they can compatibly coordinate with each other. So it becomes more easy in cloud that I just have to tell my provider, just give me more compute power, they will provide me with it and I can move on. So the best example is of this is like Hotstar. Whenever we watch any cricket match, right? So the whenever like when we start watching cricket match, the score like 100 people are watching, and suddenly the watch screen plummets to like 400 people, 500 people. In that case, we need something more reliable and scalable, right? So cloud can easily adapt to these changes. Even if my 100 queries are coming in, it won't matter. It will provide me 100 compute space. If 400 queries are coming in, it will provide me with 400 compute space, right? So it is easily scalable. Uh, then again with the flexibility and accessibility. So cloud is accessible everywhere, and it doesn't stop because if there is a crash in system, it will be supported by another backup system, and therefore it is mostly accessible. So let's continue with the okay.
Shivam, can
CQ.
you answer some of these questions? Some of these questions are
Sure.
very centric to slides, so they'll get it clear.
Actually, I'm not able to access the chat while I'm presenting,
Okay.
so if you could share
Yeah,
the
sure,
question.
sure. So there
Yeah.
was a question, how scalability works dynamically. Like, are
Okay.
like on the same machine, can we demand more processors?
Okay. So mostly we don't have to worry about the scalability, but the cloud providers, if you are asking me how the cloud provider is going to manage it, so if we define first a contract with the cloud provider of how much limit we are going to use it, and suppose if we say we are using some 5 processor right now, okay, and then we demanded them ki we need more servers. So what they will do is cloud provider will allocate that processing power to the like it will allocate 5 more processors from their side. So see, cloud providers have really large servers, right? So in the servers they have many layers of processors, compute power, and everything, they have compiled it, right? So whenever our application is running, it will make sure that it is running on the given allotted limit. If it want to exceed the limit, then they will just clear the bound to let them use acha, my server is using 5 processor right now, but it is a heavy processor, sorry, it is a heavy process, it needs to it needs more computation power. So what it'll do is it increase the limit to 10 servers RAM. So it will use now 10 processors at the same time. So I hope I answered your
Yeah,
question.
basically,
Okay.
if you want it to be explained in your words, suppose you have a like a VM, you have a compute power of maybe 4 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM है समझ लेना, and then you are like GTA खेलना है मेरे को, GTA के लिए मेरे को 24 GB RAM चाहिए. Okay, so you,
Yeah.
only the thing you have to do is just tell one click you can deploy. You can say okay, increase it to 24 GB. You can immediately increase it to the 24 GB
Yes.
on the same machine, or you can actually have different servers as Shivam was explaining. You can, instead of having 5 servers, 10 servers, you can have 10 servers. Okay, so that's how it works, scalability. Yep, continue, please.
Okay. Any other questions, or should I continue with the?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, okay, okay. So, if you have any questions, we can discuss it in between the breaks when I change the slide. So just let me know. Okay. So, okay. So, yeah, security and compliance. So, the most important whenever we are dealing with the data is the security, right? So, if I am a startup, again with the startup example, so I'll need to hire a very good security team to handle the data, right? Suppose now if I'm in an open AI, right? So I'm not careful with this data, I might leak, I will have a data breach and the data might get leaked, right? So I'll need to hire a really good team to handle the network and the servers so that they don't get hacked, right? But since I'm a startup, I don't have that access to this many people or good security team. So what cloud providers manages to key, they have their own security team and they maintain the standard to the highest level of security for us, and we don't have to worry about it, right? And again with the maintenance, everything is maintained by the cloud providers themselves, and we don't need to worry about anything, right? Just we need to worry about if the data, whatever data we are fetching, or what access we are giving to others, right? So one company let their AWS S3 bucket open, and which is a really big mistake because they leaked a really big that data breach was really big, and all the customer data was openly publicly available to everyone to access. So that should not happen, right? So in maintenance, we just have to care about small details like who are we letting the data access, and other things like how data is going and how we are adding the data. Are we adding the any conspicuities, or the server are running properly? That's all we have to take care about. And every other thing about the servers and the networking and the how the data will be stored, that will be managed by the cloud providers. Okay, so let's move on to the what are the cloud providers in this industry. So okay, okay, so ha, the market share right now, this is according to Q3 of 2024. This data you can find it on Quincy, and I'll, if you want, I can share the link with you. And okay, so according to this data, AWS right now holds 31% of market share, which is like AWS is a top lead in the cloud providing market. And then followed by we have Azure. Azure is a cloud platform by Microsoft, and then we have GCP. GCP is Google Cloud Platform, right? And then followed by Alibaba, Oracle, Salesforce, IBM Cloud, and Tencent Cloud. Tencent is a gaming company who have their own cloud infrastructure and everything. So yeah, and then the rest of these companies have like less than 1% of cloud share right now. Okay. So why there are so many companies, and why AWS have their largest market share? We'll discuss this in further PPTs. And um, one of their characteristic is like Microsoft Azure has its popular enterprise IT, right? And most of their prefer this Azure because of its simplicity and its accessibility with Salesforce and all other databases. Google platform, cloud platform is used for AI and analytics. So you must have seen Google AdSense and Google Analytics. Most time whenever you visit a site, there is Google AdSense and their pop-up ad and all. So it is really strong in AI and analytics. Mostly analytics wise, Google has developed its field, right? So they are market lead in analytics. So, and then we have IBM Cloud and Oracle Cloud, which also focuses on enterprising and database solutions for businesses and startups. Okay, let's move on with this. Okay, so okay. Now, cloud deployment models. So before this, I'll just start with a simple concept of how many of you use Instagram? Um, just you can raise your hand for this. You don't need to chat. I can chat. So yeah, right. So everybody knows about Instagram. And have you ever posted any story like where you have given an option? Do you want to share it with close friends or do you want to make it a public? Yeah, right. Everybody knows about this, right? So similar to that, like what access we are giving to people, like who will be able to see our stories basically. Is it public? Is it visible to everybody? Or is it private, visible to a particular group of people? Similar to that, we have cloud deployment models, right? So in cloud deployment models, the first one is public cloud, right? So the public cloud, as the name suggests, it gives accessibility to everybody, right? It is available to general public, right? So it as we can see that since it is public, it might have some security issues. Yeah, so we consider public cloud as less secure than private cloud because public cloud has access to everybody, so there is no authentication, a strict authentication to public cloud. So the best example of public cloud is like Google Drive, right? You might have used Google Drive and Dropbox. So Google Drive and Dropbox are like cloud for us to store our photos, our content, our documents, and we can and if we just share a link with others, everyone can access that link. So the best example for public cloud is Google Drive, right? And okay, so now we'll move on to private cloud. Private cloud is basically when a company doesn't want to share its data with everybody and it should remain in company and they can do analytics or use it however they want. So it is more obviously more secure than public because not everyone has an access. And access this cloud, there is a lot of security, and they maintain it such that not everyone can access it, and only a particular specific group of people in the company can access this data. So it is more secure. So the best example of this is IBM Cloud, where now IBM Cloud has provided us with the public access of quantum computers, but before that they were using their own quantum computers. For now also they have some extra advanced models of quantum computers which now have access to only their company, not us. It is not available to general public. So that is the best example of private cloud. And obviously the hybrid cloud. Okay, so what hybrid cloud is, as the name suggests, that it is something related to hybriding or combining two or more things, right? So it is the combination of two or more cloud architectures within one. So suppose now I want to keep something as I want to keep some company data as private and other data I want to share it publicly. So what I can do is I can use a hybrid cloud which will manage my both side. It will maintain a good relation with like my suppose I'm running a hospital and I have some confidential data records, but some like I have to keep some of the data, like what are the doctors related requests, what are the entries going on. If I have to keep that public, I can keep that public in particular sectors, how ambulance are managing or something like that. So that is one example. Okay, so next, we'll move on to cloud service models. Now we have learned how the accessibility and works in cloud deployment model. Now we'll learn what are the kind of service models in cloud. Like how can we have cloud with us and how can we manage our app on it, right? So okay. So as I said earlier, if I want to share my data with everyone on internet, I will need a server. Then there will be some networking configuration I need to do. Then I to need manage the storage. I need to manage the servers. I need to manage the virtualization, how virtualization is done. Virtualization is basically that you can create a runtime environment for an application to run, so that, and you can generalize it so that it can run on every other hardware. So virtualization does that, and then I have to install OS on that, and then there are middlewares, then runtime, then data application. So okay. So I'll have to manage all that stuff. So this is something which is known as on-premise, where I'm managing everything from top to down, top to bottom to up. Sorry, yeah. So now, what are the cloud service models? There are three types of service models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. I'll explain you everything in detail. Okay. Yes. So let's start with the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service is a cloud computing model that provides on-demand access to computing resources such as server, storage, networking, and virtualization. So suppose I'm a company which requires only hardware in every country, right? So if I want more control over how my OS is installed, which OS I am supposed to be installed. Like there is Mac OS, Windows OS, Linux OS. So I will be able to. I'm just buying their infrastructure. Basically, I'm buying their some computer, right? So um, you can think of it as key in US I have my own computer, and I have only just hardware. Okay, now on that hardware I will be able to install my own OS, my own middleware, my own data and application, everything. I can customize it any way I can. So the most customizable infrastructure is the infrastructure as a service model. So where everything you can control and you just need the hardware. So cloud provider provide the service of IS. So yeah, the example for this is AWS EC2 instance, and EC2 instance, what it does is it provide us with this all this infrastructure, and we need to install OS, middlewares, everything from scratch, and we can customize it anyhow we want. um, okay, then platform as a service. Okay. So in platform as a service, if we don't want to worry about what OS, what system is it, and what other conditions are, what environment is running it, we just need to deploy our app. The platform as a service is a really good option for us. So everything is handled by the cloud provider, networking, storage, servers, virtualization, plus also what OS they need to put in, what middlewares are running, and what runtime environment for the application is. Everything is handled by the cloud providers themselves. Right. So the example of this is AWS Elastic Beanstalk. So you just need to give them the data and the application, and everything will be handled by AWS themselves. Right. So to use AWS Elastic Beanstalk to deploy app without managing servers manually is the best option if you are a startup, or if you don't want to get into nitty-gritties of the server right now. Right. Okay. So okay. Software as a service is the next service model, where everything is controlled, like even the application runtime, everything is controlled by the company, the cloud provider, right? So the as we can see that everything, like in past we had to deploy our own application, but in software as a service, application is even controlled by the company, right, the cloud provider. So if it requires anything else, like it requires to scale up or scale down, everything is handled by the cloud providers, and it is pay as you go. So if our whatever our model will consume, or our application will consume the compute power, we have to pay for that much only. So the best example for this is Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So whenever installing a we are going for video conferencing and software, users access Zoom's cloud-based server instantly. So it provides them with instant data and streams their video fast and everywhere. So even if someone is in USA, they can access a meeting which is happening in India, right? So that's the best advantage of software as a service in cloud, right? Okay. So now what is shared responsibility in shared responsibility model? So whenever we are making a contract with a cloud provider, it we have to define the terms of it, right? So how much of the stack, how much of the server and the data will what we will manage and what will they manage, right? So as we have seen the infrastructure service, pass, and software service, so we will have to decide what kind of service we are using, right? So as we can see here in infrastructure as a service, we are only getting the servers, right, and the hardware and networking configurations, and rest of it we have to handle. So here our customers responsibility is more rather than the cloud providers, right? Here everything like client side data encryption and server side encryption, network traffic protection, OS, platform application management, customer data, everything that has to be handled by the user or the customer. Basically it has now become the customer's responsibility to handle this, right? Whereas now in past we have more we give more of the responsibility to the cloud provider, where they can handle the platform also and OS, right? So now it has we have to only manage the client side network, some of the network protection, traffic and all, and the customer data, that's all. And rest of it is responsibility of the cloud provider. Okay. And if we even want more like we don't want that much responsibility also, we just need we want to deploy a full on software as a service program, then we can just use we can have the managed services, and it is here the customer has the least responsibility. They just need to manage the customer data, client side data encryption, and that's all. They don't need to worry about anything else, and everything else will be handled by the cloud provider themselves. Okay. So that's all about the responsibility model. Basically, it helps us to understand what is our responsibility and what is the responsibility of cloud provider. So as we have discussed in an example that if one company they had issued their S3 bucket accessibility to everyone, and it was public, which led to data breach. So that's but that responsibility was of company and not the AWS cloud provider. It was the fault of the company that they let their S3 bucket open and did not restrict the accessibility of their resources. So this kind of share we have to keep in mind that even though we are having a cloud provider, it isn't that everything is their responsibility. There is a like there is a coordination and there is collaboration between responsibility, what responsibility they are taking and what we have to handle, right? So let's move on with this. Okay, so now we will discuss introduction to AWS. So since we have seen the AWS has the largest market share right now from 2024 quarters, and it's 31%. So we'll discuss about AWS and how the services are working. So AWS is leading the cloud computing platform, I don't know, since like 2010 something, and it was whereas Amazon was launched in 2016. So it is a really big deal that they have come out and they have maintained their position in market. So yeah, so it provides us with large like the wide range of services, like which include like computing, security, networking, database, storage, and many more. So we'll look at those services now. And okay, so these are the some services and main category according to which AWS provides. So we will look at some application basics, what application basic services are, and we'll discuss some of these services in detail later. Okay, so firstly, related to deployment and management, we have like application services, mobile services, and enterprises applications. So These categories include all the things you need to manage the deployment and everything like mailing and mobile analytics and everything like that you will be able to handle with the services. So you might have heard about Amazon Workspaces and Amazon Work Email, where they provide their custom email to companies so that they can manage their mail and all. And example of like Amazon SNS helps to create mobile SMSs and handle how you can share your SMS of customers and how you can contact with them via SMS, right? So then application services. Application services involve administration and security, deployment management, and analytics. So we will discuss this in detail in like Cloud Trail and yeah. So do you have any queries with this, or should I continue ahead? I've seen some hand raises here because yeah. Should I continue ahead, or you have any queries?
Okay, let's
Um,
go ahead
hel-
for now. Yep.
okay,
You can
okay.
continue that.
Okay, okay. So now we have foundation services. Okay, so in foundation services, we provide the basic compute, storage, content delivery, databases, and networking. So in compute, so you might have heard of something as serverless architecture. We can implement serverless architecture using AWS Lambda, which provide us with we can provide them with some sample process and they can compute it and return us the response, right? And storage and content delivery. Most of our APIs and most of our data and websites are working on CDN. So CDN is content delivery network. And to manage this, we can use AWS, which is a great choice because AWS has a really like it has a availability of 99.99, and depending upon what contract you can decide what percentage of availability we can access, right? So Amazon content delivery is the preferred choice in industry right now. And you might have seen Bootstrap also works on CDN provided by Amazon. So Amazon content delivery network is used by Bootstrap, yeah. And databases. So in databases, we have DynamoDB, a quite popular NoSQL DynamoDB, right? So and then Amazon Redshift. Um, so is the screen visible or okay?
Yep.
Is the screen okay? Okay, okay. And okay, in networking, then we have Amazon VPC and Amazon Direct Connect and Amazon Route 53. Now we will look at some of these services in depth, and you will also learn these services in detail in coming lectures and coming days. Okay, so EC2 instance. Okay, EC2 instance is basically as we discussed in IS, it provides us with the all hardware and everything. We just need to install OS and we can it is like basically a virtual machine, and we whatever OS we want to install, and then we can deploy and customize it according to we want. So provides us compute and everything which is required for the app. Okay. And AWS Lambda, as we discussed, that if you want to build a serverless architecture or you want a serverless compute, then you can use AWS Lambda, where they run code in like response to trigger or something, and they can manage their manage its output and all. That's all. You don't need to worry about if the application is running or what OS is it or everything. It just provides us with the basic compute services required for that to run a particular code. Okay. So, okay. So storage devices. So you might have heard of S3 bucket or S3 storage by Amazon. So it is the most popular AWS service, and it is simply storage service which provides like high scalable. It is durable, and you can securely store everything, and you can share it with a particular level of accessibility, and you can it also supports data backup and archiving and content distribution. Okay. So AWS EBS is another, is Elastic Block Store. It provides persistent block storage for EC2 instances. It offers high availability and snapshots and encryption for secure data storage. Right. Okay. So in database services, in coming days, we are going to use AWS RDS and also some other services. So it is a managed relational database service, and it supports multiple engines like MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQL Server. It automates database tasks like provisioning and backup and scaling, right? And then we have DynamoDB. It's a fully managed NoSQL database that delivers single-digit millisecond performance at scale, and it supports key value and document data model with built-in security and backup. Right. So if you want to have SQL database, you can go with AWS RDS, or if you want to manage a non-SQL database, you can go with DynamoDB. Oh, so now we'll look at some of networking services. So Route 53 is a scalable and highly available DNS and domain name registration service. It enables traffic routing, health checks, and domain management, right? Then virtual private cloud allows user to create isolated network environment in AWS, and it provides control over IP addressing, subnets, and network security. Right. So if you want like a VPN for a cloud, so you can obviously go for a virtual private cloud. So yes, and now we'll move on to security services. So AWS security services include IAM. So IAM is, you might have seen this, like this is really popular, and it is full form for identity and access management. It enables security access and control to AWS resources. It allows user to define policies, role, and permissions for grained security. So you can define a hierarchy of levels and roles, so that if for how people can access the data. So this helps a lot in that, and we'll see this in coming few days. And also AWS Shield is also a good choice for, you might have heard of distributed DOS attacks. So DDoS attacks are really prevalent today, and it can cause a lot of money if you're using cloud services. So it is good to have a protection and have this managed. So because you might have heard of Vercel. So Vercel are like deployment service. They provide deployment services, and someone got DDoS attacked on Vercel deployment, and they have to pay some bill of like $50,000. And they were like, I won't be able to pay this much, because they were startup, and because of the DDoS attack, it harms companies, and like, so we should have a protection against it, because someone used a lot of resources using DDoS, and which is not good. And okay, so uh, um, for AWS Shield is it provides us with DDoS protection services that safeguard AWS application against attacks, and it also provides automatic detection and mitigation to ensure application availability. So if someone is attacking with DDoS, you won't be able to access the app, or it might get slow. So this AWS Shield could help in that, and make sure that your app is available all the time. Okay, so that's all for today. It's time for Q&A. If you have any queries, you can ask now.
Hello.
Yep.
Yes. Uh, Yeah. Computing. So I have seen, can you please provide some examples for projects based on cloud computing? So in this challenge, we are going to have a hands-on project, so you can do that. Also, you can see, look at companies like now every day, everything is cloud. Every company is migrating to cloud, so you can use that.
Yeah, there
Okay.
are some examples for projects. Basically, you can go like choose your domain first. If you want to go for ML, then do ML based projects. And there are a lot of projects for SageMaker, Bedrock. If you want to go for app development, then go for app development. Choose your domain first, and then we can talk about the, you know, project. Also, if asking for leave, you can, yes, we are done with the meet, you can leave, but we are gonna announce some things about the quiz later on. So yeah, if you have a emergency, you can leave. You can get it known from someone else. Yep. Um, the question was, um, can it provide service like proxy server? Yes, it can provide a service like proxy server. Basically, what we do is we set up the server and like we have the server on AWS and we set up the proxy for it. Okay, and you use these Nginx and all, right? What was response in AWS Lambda? So basically, whatever the answer the Lambda gets is the response. Shivam, maybe you can turn off your screen share because
Okay.
yeah, it's lagging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can keep that.
Okay. So is it off or
Yep.
okay? Uh, Okay. Um,
For ML-based projects, which platform is preferable? For ML-based projects, again, if you want to use a cloud platform, you can use any of them. We don't have bias towards AWS, but to get started, AWS is always easy to go with.
yeah.
Yep. Is there a WhatsApp group? Okay, I'll share you the WhatsApp group link.
How can we implement this in projects? So what exactly do you want to implement in projects? So as Himanshu said, you can choose your domain specific, and then you can, if it requires a lot of cloud compute or you requires a computing, then you can host it on cloud. And like nowadays, recruiters want you to host your projects, so it is better to use these services because it will allow you and you can manage this easier, right? So yeah, I want to cloud data engineering. I want to pursue career in cloud data engineering with services. Which
Okay.
service I want to learn?
So you should go for data specific services. So we would be studying about storage and database services on day 3. So you can focus more on that. And if you want to become a data engineer, like cloud, of course, with a data engineer, you have to study more about pre-processing data or how to clean up the data. That is what a cloud data engineer does. Okay. And
Um,
any else?
yes,
Excuse
they are
me.
asking if upcoming days में क्या होने वाला है, so you can.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you about that. So basically, as what Shivam told you about was, just the basics of cloud and all the services that are present in cloud. Okay, so there were a lot of services. I know you guys got overwhelmed. I am pretty sure एक भी service दिमाग से नहीं गया
Yeah,
है. But yeah, don't worry. That's what. So we just introduced all the categories. There were a lot of categories, right? Compute tha, there was storage tha, databases tha. Okay, and we'll be studying about these services, studying about these one ek ek karke, and that would be the rest of the next 4 days. Why can't Microsoft match with AWS services where they lack? That's a very controversial question.
yeah.
It's not like Microsoft doesn't match. Every cloud is better in their own way. So yeah, we are not comparing clouds here. Can you clear me what's the role of AWS engineer working in company? What is role of AWS engineer working in a company? There are a lot of roles available in AWS. As one of them said, cloud data engineer. So there is like cloud ML engineer. There is a cloud DevOps engineer. Cloud solutions architect. And based on these roles, you would be working on the company. You can go to the AWS website and search for AWS roles, or yep, you'll get it there. Cloud services. I want to build my career in cloud security, so should I focus on network and OS? Yes, definitely. Can you give an
हेलो।
example? Yep.
एक पूछना था वो प्राइवेट क्लाउड या पब्लिक क्लाउड। समझो मेरी
Hmm.
एक कंपनी है, तो
Mm-hmm.
फिर प्राइवेट क्लाउड को प्रिफर करना है या पब्लिक क्लाउड को?
Okay. So basically, दोनों में है security. It's not like if you are using a private cloud, a public cloud, there is no security. But now, simple सा बात है, like if you are opening a company of yourself and basically your company deals with credit card data, okay? So that is something very sensitive data which you can't afford to, leak information out of it. And for that, maybe you can go for private clouds, okay? And again, if it's like a normal e-commerce application, maybe just a normal application or some mental health application or something like that, and that is completely fine, where you can use a public cloud. Again, I'm not saying that public cloud doesn't have security. It's completely dependent on organizations as how they want it, because yeah, there is a different level of क्या बोलते हैं, hold on to how you can manage the security too.
Again, there is which cloud platform would I recommend to start with, GCP or AWS?
Start with AWS for now. If you feel comfortable with GCP, you can go with that. इंटर्नशिप के लिए कितना क्लाउड करना है? डोंट वरी, इंटर्नशिप किधर इंटर्नशिप करना है वो बताओ. I have a model which is currently deployed on GCP. Will it be better if you use? No, no, it's okay. You can use GCP too. Why can't every company have their own cloud service? Okay, basically, okay. Every
Can I answer
company,
this?
yeah, yeah, please, please. Go ahead.
So basically, as we discussed earlier, if I want to host something, then I'll have to buy everything like server and then manage its network configuration, everything, blah blah blah, security. So it's too much stuff to handle for a company, right? And also, if everyone has their own cloud centers in every city and every like country and everywhere, so it would be too bulky, spacey, and it is not. It would be really difficult to be managed, right? So not everyone can have their own cloud service, and obviously they should not, because if they have a cheaper option, so they should rather focus on developing their application rather than focusing on the cloud and the formalities. Anything, Himanshu, you want to add to it?
Oh no, वही था. So basically वही services. First of all, you have to get the infrastructure right. पैसा infrastructure लगेगा. देखो खुद का company start करना है tomorrow. You want to start a startup. Are you gonna buy crores of server setups,
Yeah.
right? Um, Again, then you don't have these services. There are services too, right? AWS and all provide services that ease your work. Why? And then let's connect. Would like to have. Yes, sure. Let's connect. You can message me. Um, what are the prerequisites to make project by end of the cloud learning challenge? There are no prerequisites. We are gonna do the hands-on from scratch. Scratch matlab from creating your AWS account itself. Okay. So don't worry. How can I get a cloud certification of AWS, and is it necessary to grab a job in cloud? Okay, there is a lot of controversy on certifications. You can get the free ones for now. There are a lot of certifications provided by AWS itself, but those are very costly, which are start around $100. That is 8,700 rupees to like they go to 25,000, and that are very costly. You might get some vouchers in between. We guys also would be helping you guys with the vouchers and stuff. Um, so yes, let's start with free certifications for now. Is AWS Cloud Challenge for beginners? Yes, for complete beginners. Where can I find AWS Solutions Architect exam dumps? So first, I think you can go for AWS Skill Builder website. There is an exam dump there. And one personally I'd recommend is exam topics. That is the best place to get these solution exam dumps for free. Can we get AWS Cloud Computing internship? Where? Where do you want to? Yes, you can definitely get internships. But as I have seen in my experience, there are less cloud computing internships. Yes. Yeah. Also, I just wanted to know how many are there anyone from outside India? I think we had one there in the chat, as much as I
Mhm.
remember. Can you just raise your hand so just say hi? Yep. Oh, that's really great. Thanks for joining us. There was a bit of Hindi in between. I hope that didn't hinder.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, but but I hope that was fine. And thanks for joining. Honestly, it's a pleasure to have you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, there is one hands-on project. The user just asked, like, do we get a hands-on experience on a cloud project by the end of the 7-day session? Yes, there is one hands-on project, and you don't need to worry. There are no prerequisites. We'll explain you everything from scratch. Uh, oh, can you announce the announcement, please? Do
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Announcement. Okay. So the announcement, yeah, okay. We do the announcement, and then people who want to leave can leave. So basically, in the announcement, the first thing would be about the certifications, right? Many people had this question about certification. So you guys would be getting certification if you at least attend 5 out of these 7 sessions. Okay. That is the criteria for getting certification. And if you have registered for Meetup, now I am pretty sure most of them have come through Meetup. But if someone has directly joined through the Meet link, then you are not going to get a certification. That was the first announcement. Second announcement is you can we would be having a quiz at the end of the at the end of the event, like the last day. And we would be having some exciting goodies for you guys, for the winners of the events. Again, the third announcement is, again, we would be having a best deployment challenge too. So for the hands-on, the person who has the best deployment out of all these, of all the submissions, would again get some goodies and swags from us guys, and uh, some vouchers too. And final announcement would be this. Yep. You guys, like, we would be having again, we would be having swags for the guys who would be updating on LinkedIn. So I hope you guys learned something from today's session. What you can do is start summarizing your learnings through LinkedIn post. So what you can do is you can uh, have a LinkedIn post, day one started cloud compute learning challenge day one. Put in your learnings and add a hashtag of AWS CC PICT. Just a second. AWS CC PICT. Um, l- Learning challenge. I'll just put it in the chat. Oh, okay. Yeah, better. Yeah, you can use this hashtag and tag us. And we'd be giving some goodies and swags for the top 3 people over the course of 7 days, over the course of 7 days, who is, following our um, the Cloud Learning Challenge on LinkedIn. And again, you can scan here for joining us on Meetup and LinkedIn. Um, and I think that was it for the announcements. Um, Anyone who wants to leave can leave. If you want to stay back and if you have some doubts, you can always connect to us. Um, yep. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for joining though. Let's move with our questions. Whoever has. Yep. Thanks a lot. Um, Okay. Also, you can unmute yourself if you want, don't worry, instead of putting chats, if we miss anyone's chat.
You can raise your hand, or you can directly unmute and ask with the
Yeah.
questions.
Yep.
Can I get you?
Hello.
Yep. Hello.
So, hi,
Hi.
I'm Kamalpreet. I'm from outside India, so I have joined it,
Oh,
the
nice.
challenge. So, it's really great for the presentation. I have
Hmm.
been using AWS since 1 year. So, my
Wow.
question is I have certified as a AI practitioner,
Hmm.
AWS. So, I wanted to move towards AI and ML. So,
Yep.
is this challenge is going to be helpful for me?
Okay. Uh, I'll first of all, congratulations on the AI challenge. This challenge would not be covering much about AML. If I want you to be honest with you, we'd be covering more to the core services. That is, the services that are used for solutions architect exams, right? Or the cloud practitioner exam. But yes, again, if you want to connect, then we'll connect, and I'll help you out with the services and all. Because I'm personally preparing myself for the ML associate exam. So yes, thanks for joining though. It's great. knowing, people that are enthusiastic from joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Quiz for goodies. Yes, you have quiz. Goodies for quiz. You have goodies for quiz, not quiz for goodies. Goodies for quiz. Um, there.
This challenge is not just for PICT students, it's for everyone. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if like you're outside PICT, you can just join in. And if even if you don't have any cloud prerequisites, we are covering everything from basics. And I know today's lecture was a little bit yeah, on the top. Like it might be like overwhelming for you if you start,
Mm,
but like when we started, it was overwhelming for us also. But now it's
yeah.
like it was like casual. Like this information was so like just even when we were making this PPT, I was discussing with Himanshu that, Arey, this is so basic. What we just don't need to remember it, we just like remember it like by heart now. So it won't be a big deal later when you are have advanced in this.
Yeah. Someone asked if they'll be getting certificates if you got the link through email. Yes. If you got through email, yes. Uh, is LinkedIn challenge? LinkedIn challenge. Yes. Can we host use AI needed servers on cloud? Okay, I didn't understand the question well, but if you are asking, can we use ML servers on cloud? Then yes. You can elaborate or you can just turn on your mic. We can talk about it. I've come through Meetup, but I did not get mail of Teams link. So will I get certificate? If you have registered for the on the Meetup, then of course we'll get it. Uh, can I get your LinkedIn? If you're asking mine, then I'll just share.
Somebody has asked in the club, can we get internship?
Yes. Not now. Okay, I'll tell you about that. Uh, okay.
So we just had a drive about the internship. Now, like
Mm,
whenever there is opening, we'll let you know.
okay. So I'll tell you about the internship opening. So right now we covered up like we have wrapped up the internships recruitment right now. But we would have be having very few openings in 2 weeks or so. So yes, that time we'll let you know. Right now we have onboarded around 16 interns. We'd be having openings for like 5 to 10 in 2 weeks, and you'll get that update on the WhatsApp group. How long did it take you to learn? I've been doing cloud since my second year, and Shivam has been exploring since third year. So yes, it completely depends on your interest. How long does it take to have a beginner level of proficiency in cloud platform? Okay, how long does it take to have a beginner level proficiency in cloud platform? I'd say 2 to 3 months.
This
Well, yeah. Shivam, go ahead.
I I wanted to just say that complete this AWS learning challenge with us, and you will have
No,
a
no,
beginner.
no. Yeah, yeah. But I think
You
like
know,
you'll get the
we will
basic
cover
idea.
mostly idea, and then they can
Yeah.
explore on their own. They have some projects like and then all.
Yeah.
So
No
because see,
amount of course, no amount of course is
yeah,
gonna help you guys.
help you
No amount of, sessions are gonna help you guys unless you explore it yourself.
explore it. Yeah, you just do some projects related to cloud, and you will be on your way. And even for somebody asked what should they prepare for internship, right? So it's the same thing. You just do 2 3 projects on your own, and it's simple. You can even read the AWS doc. They are really good. It is really well documented, and you can start with it.
Yes. What will be the process of internship? For our internship, if you are asking, then it is like two levels. First is just an online application which you have to fill out, and second is an interview. An interview, we don't have a lot of technical jargon. We just want you to be very enthusiastic in cloud and just a little bit of some basic knowledge of cloud. Because like you are not expected to have knowledge. We are expected to give you knowledge, right? That's what a club is about. Okay, anything else? Can I know about cloud native? So cloud native is, basically one of you guys were asking a question on, what VMs, why use VMs when we have Docker and some question like that. So there are two types of hosting. We can use VMs, or we can go for containerization or microservices architectures, and that's where the cloud native comes in. Uh, we won't be covering cloud native in this challenge, because cloud native is a little bit of different topic, a more bit of advanced topic, I'd say. But if you want to explore, like, first, get with some, get with some concepts of virtualization, containerization, and then jump on to Docker, Kubernetes, and cloud native applications. How are they built using microservices? Is using ChatGPT with limited knowledge of languages and frameworks for project good, or should I develop projects from scratch? You there is no harm in using ChatGPT. You should definitely use ChatGPT. Uh, but like, just understand what you're doing with the project too. I do want to try for internship. Can you please give me the necessary updates? You'll get the openings around in 2 weeks. Okay, is that good? You'll get update about openings in 2 weeks. I've heard that
Uh,
it is harder to land job as cloud architect for fresher. What do you think of it? Yes, that is true. One, I'll tell you how it goes. So I'll tell you my experience itself. I'm a fourth year, right? So I've gone through this placement process. Um, so it's not like they mandatory see if you have some cloud knowledge. It's not like, oh, mandatory it's needed. Um, it is preferred, definitely it is preferred, but it is not mandatory. And again, if you want to, um, land a very cloud specific job, as a cloud architect or as a cloud data engineer, it's comparatively harder. Yes, but I'll tell you my experience was, there were a lot of companies for recruitment, right, at TICT, and at least around 80% of people who got recruited right now are working on cloud, or like something related to cloud, or ML, something related to cloud or ML. So, even if you are a fresher, you need some exposure to cloud, and that's something would be a plus point when if you start right now. Do you teach DevOps? I'm a student, man. But like, yeah, we can go for a DevOps session too. We can have a DevOps challenge. There are a lot of DevOps enthusiasts too. Um, I've heard that it's harder. Would you be also teaching deploying Flutter apps on AWS? It would be great help. Okay, so basically now we'll be having this hands-on challenge, right? If you we'll be deploying a website on that, but if you get the gist of it, like how to deploy a website, you'll get the gist of how to deploy an application too. So I don't think it would be much harder. What is the prerequisite for internship? I basic cloud knowledge, like the cloud knowledge which you would get in this challenge. Um, and enthusiasm, of course, enthusiasm is needed. Some inputs from efforts from your side is something we see. Please do DevOps basic challenge also. Yeah, sounds good. We can have a DevOps challenge, and again, as Kamalpreet was also there, we can have something related to AML challenge. Let's get some inputs from you guys, and depending on your interest, we'd be happy to help, with arranging sessions for you guys. Okay. I hope this email finds you well. Finds you well. Okay. I'm okay. ठीक है. Uh, I'm going to express my desire to connect solutions, but I continue to focus on honing my skills in cloud technologies, recently on AWS Cloud Solutions Architect certification. I look forward to applying my theoretical knowledge in organization like yours. Um,
like he just cold mailed you in the chat, man.
No, that's fine. Thanks for writing the message, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for writing the message. Yes, congrats on earning your cloud,
AWS associate.
solutions architect associate. It's hard to crack. And you'll definitely get a job, don't worry. And yes, thank you for, collaborating with us too. Okay. We'd be wrapping this meet in 2-3 minutes. If you have any questions, you can just put it. You can turn on your mic if you want. And thanks for the session. Dine well and good night. See you for tomorrow. Yes. See you. See you tomorrow. Kamalpreet? Oh no, that was okay.
Guys, any more questions?
Nope. Yes, Shraddha, go ahead.
Okay, so I think we have had a really enthusiastic audience today. We had about 80 participants at the end, till the end, which is really good to know.
Oh no,
So
no,
it
Shraddha,
was
we
a,
had, Shraddha, we had 300 people till the end.
Yeah.
अभी फिर बाद में QI ने चलने के बाद it went till
Yeah.
80. Yeah, but yeah,
yeah.
thanks a lot. Yep. Shraddha, go ahead.
So I just wanted to tell everyone that tomorrow we are having, this is not the end. Tomorrow we are going to dive deeper into compute services of AWS EC2 instances. So don't forget to join tomorrow. And also don't forget to share your own experiences on social media using the hashtag that is shown on the screen. Hashtag AWS Learning CCPICT Challenge 2025. So anything else? Himanshu, do you want to add anything else?
I think this is it. Um, yes, we can wrap up the meet I'll just take this one last question. We'll wrap up the meet. Since I'm
Yeah.
from tier 3 college, I don't have much exposure to new technologies. Sessions like these are very helpful for me. Thanks again. Oh, thanks a lot. Really, thanks a lot. And don't worry, you can stay connected with us. We'll help you get as much exposure as we can from our side. Yep. Okay. With that, let's wrap up the meet. See you guys tomorrow. We can keep on talking tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Bye. Bye. See you guys.
Bye bye.